we are looking at synthetic substitution. And so synthetic substitution, honestly, I will say is super easy. Like super easy, okay? And I say that because you only have to do one thing. You just do synthetic division. That's it. So when I'm taking a look at this, a lot of you are going to want to go ahead, and you've been doing this for a long time. You say find f of 3. You go, okay, this is 4 times 3, and then I cube it. And we're actually going to do this wrong because we're going to connect a few things here. But so I cube it, and then I go 2 times 3, and I square, and then I go minus 3 plus 5, and then we would calculate that. And so I actually want you to calculate that. Go ahead and do that. Type that in your calculator, give me a number for it. I need a number from at least 4 of you confirming it or denying it. What'd you get? 128? 128? I need 2 more. 128? All right, I got 2 more. So, we get 128 when you type that in. Now, this is not what we're going to do. And so we're not going to do it the rest of this chapter. Okay? Now, if you're on the test and you're like, I want to double check my answer, you can double check your answer that way. But on the problem, it's going to say, use synthetic substitution to evaluate. And then it's going to give you something, and then you're going to figure it out. But if you just go ahead and plug it in, I will give you 0 points. Because you're not using the method that we are asking you to. So, we're going to try something else and just see what happens. We're going to review synthetic division really quick. So, what goes on the outside here? Positive 3. Yep, positive 3, because it's what makes that 0, right? So long division factors go on the outside, synthetic division zeros go on the outside. So then I have 4, 2, negative 1, and 5. What's my first step? Bring the 4 down. Really? All right. Okay, so we got 4 right there. We're blocking some things out from yesterday that we need to. And then what do I do? Do I add them or multiply? Multiply. So I get 12. Then what do I add them or multiply? Add. So I get 14. Let's do some fast math. See if you can do it without a calculator. 42. You know, I did ask for fast math, and that was very fast. So I'm good with it. So then we get 41 right here. And then I get 3 times 41, which is 123. Then I add them up together, and I get 128. What number did we plug in over here? 3. Notice we had 3 right here. Notice our solution is the remainder. So, when you do synthetic division, if you have a remainder, it's telling you the y-coordinate of that point. You're giving it an x, it's giving you back a y. Okay? So it tells you a couple things. It tells you, 1, is it a factor? This is not a factor. But it also tells you where that point actually is. I know that this function has the point 3, 128. Okay? So my solution would just be f of 3 equals 128. So this is what I want to see. If you show me that, you've got full points. Okay? Question?
What about like the 4x squared plus 14x plus 14?
We don't care about that at all. Because it's not asking us for like the function that comes from that or anything like that. It's just asking what's the y-coordinate. We found the y-coordinate. It's just a unique little thing that happens. So, I'm going to slide down over here. And we're going to do this problem. We're going to do it with only synthetic division. We are no longer going to plug the numbers in. So, this is g of negative 4. That checks out over here because I'll do whatever makes that 0. So I got negative 4. I put my coefficients in, so I'm looking at 1, -9, 8, and 60. I want you to try the synthetic division on your own. And so when I work through this, just tell me what numbers you got. So you got 1, and then you got negative what? 13. Okay. And then? And then? And then? Nice. And then? Alright. So if I'm answering this, I can then say that g of -4 equals -180. Done. So I've shown the work that's required to do that. And then I go ahead and I got that. So hopefully you can just take a quick look, see if you missed anything or where that mistake came. But I'll take any questions that you got as well. Anything. So I'm going to go back to the question that I got asked earlier. What about this stuff? And what I need you to realize is it's about what are we being asked. So we always have to ask ourselves, what am I actually looking for? Don't just look at the problem and start doing something. Make sure you know what is your end result. What are you going for? In this case, find g of -4. I'm looking for a number. I'm looking for a y-coordinate. That's my y-coordinate. I got it. Okay? If it asks me to find the quotient, that's when I start writing this out. Okay? So, any questions before we keep going? How do we feel about this? Decent? Pretty good? All right. Okay. Go ahead and do number 1. I will put the 6 here. I'm going to let you do the rest. What's the answer, folks? 925, that's right. So you do get a 925 here when you go through the whole process. I'm not going to go through it because we did a really awesome job with it. So that's very nice. Is there any questions though that you have? Like I said, it was pretty good as I was walking around, but that's also a time you can ask questions too. So any questions? All right, we're not actually going to do the other examples. Instead, there's a same piece of paper over there. If you can go grab one of those, please. And write down this problem right here. Once you get that piece of paper. Now try to be neat with this piece of paper. Try to keep it for yourself. So I keep telling you that we're going to keep doing problems and solving and things like that. So this can be a collection of all those problems. So you have them in one space, and that way when you're reviewing and things like that, you can hopefully get some easy answers for yourself. Chase, you're too kind.
You can say that.
All right, so copy this down, and then we're gonna start working through it. All right, tell me something you know about this. What's given to you? Yeah, x equals -6. One of my solutions is given to you, okay? So that tells us a couple things. One, it tells us what one of the solutions is. It also tells us what one of the factors are. What's the factor that relates to this? Yeah, x plus 6 or 6 plus x, okay? All right, so we got that. So now we have to change forms. You don't know how to solve a cubic without changing form, so we have to get it closer towards factor form. Once it's in factor form, then you can do something with it. So, would you like to do synthetic division or long division to find the other factor? I'm shocked. Okay, so we're going to do synthetic. So, what goes on the outside here? Is +6 or -6 going on the outside? -6 goes on the outside. So if I look at the factor, it's whatever makes that 0. Or my solution goes on the outside is another way of thinking about it. So I got -6, and then I go ahead and put my numbers in. What should I expect to get as a remainder?
0.
Should get 0. Okay? And I should get 0 because if this is truly one of my solutions, it means that that is one of my factors. And if that's one of my factors, I need to get 0 as a remainder. If I don't, that actually tells me I did something wrong. Or in this case, we did something wrong. Okay? So, we drop the 1 down, and then I multiply. So I get -6, and then I go ahead and I combine, I get -1. Multiply, I get 6, which gives me a 3. And I get -18, which does give me a 0. So that's good. Now, I went through that piece a little quick because we did some synthetic division already today, okay? But do you have any questions there? Because if you're good, I'm happy to move on, but otherwise I'm happy to address it. All right, so if I'm solving something, if I'm looking for 2 other solutions, it is helpful to then write it in factor form. So I'm going to write this as x plus 6. The equal 0 is still there, so x plus 6. And then I have this. This is going to be 1x to what power? Yeah, so I got x squared. Then I just go down, so -x plus 3. Why am I crossing that off? Yeah, we already know the solution. If I already know the solution to it, why am I going to do work to find the solution that I already have? I'm not going to do work for something I already have. So I'm crossing it off, not because it's gone, but because I don't have to deal with it. I don't care about it anymore. What I care about is right here. So you have the same options of solving quadratics that you always have. You can factor, you can complete the square, you can do quadratic formula, or you can do the Shrek method. Now the Shrek method doesn't work because we have a middle term, so I can't do that. So I'm left with factoring, which is always my first choice. Complete the square or quadratic. So let's factor. First thing, x squared gives me x and x. What numbers multiply to make 3? 1 and 3. 3 and 1. Doesn't matter. Can I get negative 1 from 3 and 1 or 1 and 3? No. So you know what I do? Either cross it off or erase it. So, would you rather complete the square or do the quadratic formula? Quadratic it is. So, quadratic shows up a lot. Okay? So, I'm going to just write it down so you have it as a reminder. And let's just label what our pieces are. It's been a little bit since you've had to do the quadratic formula. What's A equal? A is 1. B is equal to? Nice. And then C is just 3. So that is just the coefficients of these terms in order. So we start throwing them in. So when I do this, I always like to put, B down first. So it's negative, negative, so it's positive. I put my plus or minus. I kind of skipped that for just a minute. I tackle this bottom piece. So 2 times 1, just 2, nice and easy. Now I'll go back to the square root. No calculators. What is negative 1 squared? 1, okay? Honestly, if you plug that in your calculator, you actually have a chance of getting that wrong. So we got 1 minus 4 times 1 times 3. What's 4 times 1 times 3? 12, and then when I combine with the 1, it does give me negative 11. Is that my solution? No. What's my solution? Imaginary. So it's going to equal 1 plus or minus I square root of 11 divided by 2. So, do I have 2 solutions there? Yeah, this is the plus or minus. So, I'm perfectly happy if you put a box around this and you're done. However, the x's are there, so I could write it as 1 plus I square root 11 divided by 2 and 1 minus I square root 11 divided by 2. So, I'm happy if you just put a box there. Like, I don't really care about that. However, if it makes you feel better, that's fine. Do that. Questions? Okay, so keep this paper, because like I said, we're going to continue, as time permits, to just do like a problem a day or something like that. So then you can have all these tucked away for you.